Hello there, my name is Ramesh Patipralu. Today I'll walk you through the demo of a very important aspect of database lifecycle management, patching, specifically fleet maintenance, a feature introduced in Enterprise Manager. There are three steps in fleet maintenance. Firstly, you look at your database estate and make sense of the existing configurations. Identify how many standardized configurations you will need across your database estate. Then build a sandpit environment for each standard configuration, or what we call software end state. Secondly, create a gold image using that sandpit environment and subscribe all Oracle databases that need to adopt this standard to that image. Lastly, or thirdly, push that gold image to the subscribing database homes and switch databases to run from the new standard image. There you have the patched environment with least amount of downtime and a process that scales for patching thousands of database homes. We have introduced EMCLI verbs to accomplish these steps in a complete automated manner. So let me show you a demo on how to achieve this. So there are a few steps that we will carry out in this demonstration. The first step is to identify the existing environment. So I'm going to go here to an environment where I've set up a bunch of databases and I've discovered those databases in my Enterprise Manager environment, right? So typically I would go to targets, databases, and once you go to the databases, you would get a menu for all of the available databases. Choose administration and click on Software Standardization Advisor. So what you would get is a screen that you already saw earlier when we landed here. So on the left hand side, you see the existing configurations, and on the right hand side is the recommended software configuration. So if I run the report, it would actually generate a couple of Excel files for us. The first file would contain the existing configurations, and the second one would contain the recommended configuration list. So let's open those the two files and go into the details. So current configuration would actually tell us how many Oracle home types, configuration types are there. So as you can see, the first row here points out that we have a 1202 environment that has no patches applied, and there are two Oracle homes of this type. And there is a second type, which is again base release is 1202, and it has a bunch of PSUs applied on them. As you can see, the last one is a January PSU that has been applied here. And there are three Oracle homes that are running of this type. So this is the existing configuration. Now, what is the recommended? Recommendation says move all of the databases and Oracle homes to this 1202 environment that has all of these PSUs applied in it. So this is a sample of how the standardization advisor gives you recommendation on how what strategy you adopt for your current environment. So what I did is I created a sandpit environment for 1202, and I've applied all of these PSU patches on top of that. What I mean is I applied the latest PSU that is inclusive of all other patches. So let me quickly show you that environment. So here is the sandpit environment that I've created. So to give you an idea, I will just show you what I have on this machine. So you can see I have gold image here. That is the sandpit environment that I've created, and the LS inventory that I've run here is for that particular environment. So as you can see, I have a bunch of database PSUs applied, starting with 1202 to 5, and then the last one has got new naming convention. As you can see, the January PSU onwards is a new naming convention for database PSUs, and that is the last one that we have applied on top of it, and that's a bug number that goes with it, right? So now that we have this environment, a sandpit environment, now we can use this to create a gold image. So how do I do that? I can go and quickly submit my EMCLI command that looks something like this. EMCLI DB software maintenance, create software image and with an input file. This input file is nothing but it lists all relevant information of the sandpit environment. So first of all, it gives a name to my gold image. So this is the gold image that we want to create. And I would have a version for each gold image that happens. So every time there's a new PSU that is released, I will come to the same sandpit environment and I will actually apply the latest PSU and create a new version of the same gold image. So for every gold image, I would have multiple versions and I would choose one of those versions to be my current version that every database home can consume. And I will also specify my sandpit environment details here, and also where this gold image will be saved within software library. So once we specified these details, and we can run this EMCLI, that I showed you earlier. EMCLI create software image with this input parameter file. So before I do that, I have to first log into my EMCLI. So let's do EMCLI login minus username, and I'm going to use Sysman as my cloud administrator. Right, now that we are logged in, let's run the create gold image command. So as you can see, it has been submitted. If you want to look at the status of this, you can just run this and it will tell you the status. So I have already created image for you. So if you want to look at the images that I have already created, so you can quickly check DB software maintenance get images command. So this will list out all the existing images. As you can see, I've created gold image for 1202 SIDB, right? So the next step is to basically subscribe to this. So we already have a software, an instance called FM2. So we could go and subscribe. This image. Right. So we have subscribed FM3 to this, and FM2 as well I have subscribed, right? So the next step, once you have subscribed this, what you do is you deploy the image that we created earlier into this particular environment. So this is going to be a shadow Oracle home that will get created for this particular target that we have given, fm2.us.oracle.com. So I would just take this EMCLI and run this here, and this will just submit and it will run. So deploy is the longest running step. Basically it copies over the entire Oracle home and stages it there for you, right? So once this is done, what you do next is you switch to this new shadow Oracle home that has been created for you. So how do you do that? This is a step that requires a downtime for your database. So FM2 is the one that I'm going to switch. So for this, what it does in case of single instance is it switches the Oracle home, copies the configuration files, and shuts down the database, runs and brings it up in the new environment, runs the SQL if it is pre-12, and if it's 1202 or later, then it will run the data patch utility to run the SQLs. So that's how it will switch. So let's run this command. Let's quickly run this for FM3. So as you can see, the job has been submitted. So what it does is it will switch FM3 database Oracle home to the new gold image that has the latest PSU. All right. So this is a quick way of showing you how an admin can do this. What happens if you have self-service enabled in this environment? So we have the gold image. Now let's go log in as a self-service user who wants to update his own database to the latest PSU. Now, since the self-service user is typically the application owner, only he can decide when he will be free to carry out this update. Instead of administrators doing this for them, chasing them to go ahead with this upgrade, that now the self-service user can actually perform this operation at their own pace. So let's open the self-service console for this user who is just logged in. His name is developer, right? So let's click on his service that's open. So once the service opens up, and if there is a gold image that he can actually consume, the update button, as you can see, gets enabled. Normally this is not enabled, right? Now that this database is running on a version where there is a newly patched Oracle Home available for him to move to. So let's click on update database, where he can specify when he wants to schedule to move his database to the latest updated patched version of Oracle Home. So let's say we want to do it immediately. So you click on update and this gets submitted. As simple as that. So it gets switched automatically in the backend, and once the switch is done, this database will come up again. So while it is showing up, if you keep refreshing, it will first take it down, and once the switch is over, it will bring it up again. So that's a quick demo of fleet maintenance that I wanted to showcase here for you. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you.